Ladies and gentlemen, we did not think we would be making another commentary today, but holy crap, Roman freaking Reigns got suspended on a 30-day wellness policy violation.
I mean, this is huge. I couldn't believe it, guys. I was with my family when I got the call from my cohort and commentary here, all excited because, oh my God, Roman Reigns has been suspended. And I mean, this has huge ramifications, not even just in the immediate future of Battleground, but potentially for Roman Reigns' career as a whole. I mean, you figure like ratings have been down. Crowd hasn't really received him well, at least like WWE wanted him to be received, and now he gets this slapped on him. I mean, is it safe to say the Roman Reigns experiment is over? I mean that was the first thing I thought about when I was coming downstairs, getting ready to come meet with you, partner, is, what does this even mean for Roman Reigns' stock in the company? I don't think he's going to be fired or anything. I don't mean anything like that. But you just got to wonder what his perception is now in terms of his value and where he can go and all that stuff. Now having this on top of everything else,
Well,
just not a good time.
we know that he's already put out an apology tweet, just kind of trying to, I guess not necessarily push it under the rug, but trying to really kind of claim responsibility for his actions, save some face in the public eye.
Right.
So, but here's the thing. From what I understand, they knew about this before the weekend, and that's the big reason why they ended up changing the title so many times and setting up the Shield triple threat, because now Ambrose and Rollins can carry the program on television, and Roman's suspension ends on the 19th, which is the day of the draft, and he'll be back in time to have the actual match.
Okay, because see, like, it was funny because I was figuring in my head, like, well, if he was going to get the suspension, why do the whole thing at Money in the Bank?
And actually, I apologies. I messed up the math there. The 19th is 4 weeks from today, so that'll be 28 days. So then the Thursday, the 21st, would be the 30th day. So, yeah, he's still going to be back from the suspension in time for Battleground. So if the WWE wants to move forward with the triple threat, they can. Alternatively, if they want to change things up a little bit, if they want to, make a big deal out of the suspension, turn it into an angle, they can do Rollins Ambrose at Battleground and just have Reigns come out at the end and wreck shop to set up for the triple threat at SummerSlam, which is what they should have been doing the whole time anyway.
I mean, honestly, partner, that is the route I would go. It would just be so weird to do a triple threat without the third guy actively involved in having the two other people carry the program.
Yeah.
I mean, that only works now because I can already kind of foresee the comments. You figure about the last really great triple threat we got, Cena, Rollins, and Lesnar. Well, Lesnar is an attraction. Reigns isn't at that level, not even close.
Right.
He doesn't even have that aura. Like, he needs to be a part of this, especially given, not only that, but given the unique relationship these three particular competitors have with each other, being the Shield.
Right.
Reigns needs to be a part of this. So yeah, personally, I'd be like, fuck it. Let's just make it if you want to make it an angle, you can make it some conniving Stephanie maneuver. Maybe because she's still licking her wounds from WrestleMania being speared by Reigns and the humiliation of the Authority. Then you have it down to Seth and Dean Ambrose. We know those two can put on good matches. And yeah, maybe you have Dean retain. Maybe it gets thrown out because Roman wrecks shop, whatever you want to do. And then you get your triple threat at a Big Four pay-per-view being SummerSlam, which, as you already said, should have been the game plan all along.
Right, yeah. Maybe it was the game plan all along and they just gave us this Shield triple threat thing to try and maintain continuity. I don't know.
Potentially. It's so crazy that this happens now.
Yeah.
When we really think we're on the road to something. And I'm curious, too, because here's the thing. Like, at first, and this is all before I even got on like, these were all my internal musings. At first, I'm like, oh, Roman, how could you be so stupid? Like, all this stuff going on in the heavens. And then I kind of stopped, and I'm like, well, I wonder exactly the nature of all this, because I do think WWE at times, I know they're trying to run a clean ship, and I commend them for that, but I do think in certain areas the wellness policy can be a bit too stringent.
Right.
I think in Adam Rose's case, like, he actually tweeted images from written prescriptions by an actual doctor, keeping everything on the up and up.
Right.
And, like, you see things like that, and you wonder, like, again, I commend them for what they're trying to do ever since the tragic year of '07. It's a different time. It's a different era. So you got to wonder, like, is Roman Reigns really culpable, or is this just another case of a system being way too stringent on people just trying to get by, traveling on the road, virtually every day of the year?
Right. From what I understand, though, the one thing that's not actually in the wellness policy is marijuana.
Right, because that's just a fine. That's just a fine
Right.
from what I understand.
Yeah.
Which still aggravates a lot of performers. But yeah, I'd be curious about the circumstances of this whole suspension. Like, what was the substance? Did he have a prescription? Like, is this WWE's failing or his? Because I don't know if people like myself, again, only a few moments prior, I was really condemning Roman Reigns, and if people are sharing that mindset, I would ask them, pause, take a step back, and really realize we are dealing with a very stringent policy here.
Yeah.
So the jury's out as far as like what I think of Roman in this whole situation. But what I do know, the WWE landscape, it's going to be very interesting how they handle this. I completely agree with you. I think you do a one-on-one match at Battleground. That keeps the story strong, keeps it intriguing. And hell, like I said about Cesaro on Raw TWitWoW, absence makes the heart grow fonder. I don't think Roman Reigns will be the top babyface after only a 30-day suspension, but maybe his presence in the feud would get people more excited and be more palatable after nearly a month away. So,
Maybe. Yeah, that's a great point.
yeah, I mean, pull it back, get him back in there, especially if you return him in a badass fashion. Like you said, like post-match at Battleground, Reigns just wrecks shop on everybody. That could get people amped like, oh my god, now this is the Shield triple threat I wanted.
We
So
could even, because they seem pretty insistent on keeping Reigns face, we could even have Rollins beat Ambrose at Battleground, and then we get to the Shield triple threat. Because, I mean, if Ambrose beats Rollins at Battleground, there's really no reason for Rollins to have a rematch.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, Rollins, I've liked how credible they've kept Rollins since, bringing him back. I mean, again, the guy beat Roman Reigns clean, and now, given the circumstances, I knew it was too perfect. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how they handle this. And Roman's career long term, I mean, I know guys have gotten in trouble before. You look at a guy like Randy Orton and stuff like that, and they always seem okay. I wouldn't be so quick, though, to say that Roman's going to be a similar case. It's just very unique circumstances, I think, surrounding Roman. And it's going to be very interesting to see where he is with the company, really even post Shield feud. Like, where is he going to go from here? So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be very long, maybe 2 years, maybe 3, and Roman will be kind of in that Randy Orton position where he is still kind of a top guy. He's not the guy anymore. He's still getting pushes, he's still winning titles, but he's much more palatable because he's not getting shoved down our throats.
Exactly. I actually think, and again, we talk about with injuries, there's always that silver lining. Silver lining of all this, if WWE is a little bit weary on Roman after all this, again, declining ratings, then you pile this on top of that, all that, and they would put him in the mid card to maybe work in the Intercontinental Championship picture or U.S. title picture. That may be where Roman gains some likability with some people, work in the mid card and working his way back up more organically this time around. Yeah, I'm really curious, like, how the pieces of the puzzle are going to come together, because this isn't just any run-of-the-mill suspension. I mean, this is a guy that WWE, they did this whole story, this WrestleMania main event, this past WrestleMania, all this stuff, and then like a house of cards, like it just was never going to stay together. And this,
Would you
I think,
call it
is just wonderful.
hyperbole for me to say that this is the biggest suspension ever in WWE?
I would say maybe. Actually, no, I think you are pretty on the nose about that, because I can't think of any bigger suspensions at the moment.
Yeah, because I mean, even Orton was like the third or fourth kind of rated guy. Roman is, I mean, at least they want us to believe that he's number one right now.
Right, well, he's the pet project. You
Right.
know what I mean? And like that's why I thought it was so huge, because you invest.
I mean, I guess Mr. Kennedy was kind of the pet project when he got suspended as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he never tasted the WrestleMania main event. He never tasted the world titles like Roman tasted.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about a guy, and this is why I thought it was so huge when I got your voicemail, dude, that has gotten so much invested in him. All these stories written out for him, and you're talking elaborate stories to try and garner the most
like
sympathy
months
possible.
worth of WWE programming that literally revolved around him.
Exactly. Like, when you think about the investment that they made in Roman Reigns, even on that front, and then you look at the returns that I think only continue to diminish, as is evident by this latest news. And again, that's not a condemnation of Roman Reigns. I still need to hear the circumstances of all this, but it is the truth. I mean, ratings were declining. The shirts weren't selling. They were only selling, in a particular demo, and they weren't cracking that top tier. It's just gotta really bum them out, and I think that's actually an understatement. You gotta wonder how pissed Vince is, because nothing went as he wanted it to, and what do you do now? Because to me, and it's a shame that Seth's heel, because see, if he was babyface, you could still keep all your momentum. I do feel like some of the win gets knocked out of you a little bit with something like this.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this. I mean, you kind of brought up Vince. To me, this might even be the excuse Vince needed to be like, well, Roman wasn't working, but I don't have to admit that. I suspended him because he violated my wellness policy. That's why I'm not pushing him anymore. It's not because the crowd didn't want him. It's because he was suspended. I suspended him. Damn it.
Exactly. So
Good
really,
old Vince playing the mental Olympics, right?
absolutely. Maybe he won't be so bad. Maybe he's kind of relieved, like, oh, I thought I would have had to admit that I was wrong for a second.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
relief.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. And you know what though? Like, here's my thing, and this is just me being honest, and it's kind of a continuation, although in a much calmer way, of my rant last night. Now more than ever, you have got to push Dean Ambrose hard. Because, like, he does have that crowd reaction. He has kept his nose clean. Again, maybe Roman did as well. We have to hear the circumstances, but he hasn't gotten in any kind of this trouble regardless.
Right. Yeah.
Like, now you really need to commit to me, because this has just shown, like, it's just one fumble after another with the Roman Reigns project. Dean had one hell of a night last night. Yeah. Again, I would say the best parts of the show revolved around him and his fire as champion. Commit to that. Roman Reigns can find his way. I would almost use this as, okay, he got suspended. You know what, guys? Wipe your hand clean, raise it to the ground, and begin again. And begin again to me as a heel and do it. Like, I know it's not going to happen. I know it's not. I'm just saying, like, how many times are you going to look a gift horse in the mouth? Because even this could be a gift if you have the right ingenuity about it.
Right.
And I just don't see them exercising it, and that's really the disappointment. I mean, Ashton, let me ask you, because I feel like I've been prattling on a lot. You're WWE, and I know, like you already said, like Seth, Dean, all that stuff, but just focusing on Roman in particular, how do we reintroduce him? How do we handle him long term in your eyes? Like, what would you do?
Well, I mean, if there was ever an opportunity to turn Roman heel, this has definitely got to be a great opportunity to do that, isn't it? Because you've got this guy coming back. He violated the wellness policy, whether it was for a legitimate reason or not. As far as storylines go, you can say that it was for performance-enhancing drugs, or, I mean, obviously they would never actually explicitly say anything like that, but you could really kind of play it off like he's a bad guy. You know what I mean? Like he was a jerk, and he wanted so badly for the fans to respect him, but, in the meantime, he was doing whatever it was that got him suspended. Alternatively, if you really want to get him over as a face, you could kind of play the sympathy angle where, like, after the crowd reaction tonight and the "you can't wrestle" chants, he kind of went home and drowned his sorrows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's because, see, like, and I'm gonna sound like kind of a dick, but I hope people can follow me here. When stuff like this happened to Jeff Hardy, like, there was always a sympathetic thread there that you could work with, because I think anybody that knew Jeff intimately or was a fan of his knew that he always had demons. And I know when he came back and he only had one more strike than he needed to be released, they used that in storylines. Like, I can remember when he feuded with MVP. I think this was back in 2008. And MVP was, like, really goading him, talking about his problems, talking about, like, all the hardships he faced. And he's like, oh, don't, you're just going to slip up one more time, aren't you? And Jeff was being like, no, I can't do that. I'll be released. Like, really saying, no, I'm committed to it this time. I know 3 strikes and I'm out. And so with Jeff, it kind of worked because you really knew, like, he really wanted to try this time to keep his nose clean and just to be the man to finally reach that quote-unquote brass ring. With Roman, I don't know. Like, maybe if you wanted him to be heel, maybe he could be smug about it. Be like, yeah,
that's all he knows.
That's all he knows is smug. He'd be like, yeah, I got suspended for it. So what? I'm the guy, which means I'm above the rules. And you just get, like, these boos because guys that are, lower on the card, sometimes even their first suspension, WWE may use that as an excuse to just cut their losses. Yeah. And here Roman is thinking, well, I'm above it. This company needs me.
Yeah.
Like,
they need
I don't
me
know.
more than I need them, kind of thing.
Exactly, like, again, just the whole the guy shtick, and just be like, without me, this company would be lost. All those seats that your asses are occupying, because of Roman Reigns, like, own that shit. I'm just looking for him to own that shit, and this could be a positive. It really could be. You just need to know how to make it work, and I really don't know what WWE's going to do.
Yeah, well, I feel like we've kind of milked this for all it's worth. Roman coming back, he could get the heel turn that we've always been wanting. He could just come back and try and get that sympathy and talk about how he went home and he made a decision that he didn't think that he could do, and he just wanted to be numb to it all, and that kind of thing, just because of the crowd reaction and how everyone hates him and they said he couldn't wrestle. But either way, we won't see him until at the earliest Battleground itself.
Right.
So that's huge. I really hope that they use this as an opportunity to push the Shield triple threat back to SummerSlam, because that is a SummerSlam worthy main event.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And Battleground, if you just do Seth versus Dean, that's still a really, really good Battleground main event. But again, I think the Shield triple threat is too good for Battleground. Would you agree with that, John?
I completely unequivocally agree with you. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, Roman Reigns is suspended for 30 days, and not really sure what else to add. So we'll see you guys for Lucha Underground tomorrow. Until then, man, good luck, Roman.